the beginning of our career as a band was very kind of unintentional, I guess. Like it just kind of I mean, I feel like when I say that, people often think that we didn't work hard, which obviously we did, but we didn't go in with it with the intention of like being in a professional band, like with a record deal
We
at
just wanted
18.
to do it because it was something fun to do and like
Yeah,
music. We liked hanging out and playing music together. And also me and Bridget, like we are better now, but like we didn't know like we had drifted apart and it was like a good reason to hang out and stuff too. And
yeah,
so we just like saw it as like in the beginning, just like a fun thing to do.
yeah. I mean, I guess yeah. When we were recording those two songs at Guillermo Sabas' studio, that was like when it really, because that's like there was a producer and like session musicians, and that's when it like really,
And we started working with Sam too, because she was
yeah,
really like, you guys could, Samantha Martin, I should say her whole name because you're
yeah,
recording. But like she was like, you guys could really like do this. Like, like
yeah,
you can like do this for a living and you can keep playing shows and like I can get you opportunities. And when she said that, I was like, damn, I didn't ever think that this could be like we could like I was just doing because I was like, oh yeah, like Bridget's in a band. Bridget was in a different band at the time. And I was like, I want to be in a band, and it was yeah, so
yeah. And I guess, and then I guess in another way, because we're 18, it still sometimes feels like it's not really a proper career. So like that's like I guess technically, but sometimes I like find myself doing things. I'm like, oh shit, like I'm 18 and like this is my job and like a thing that I do. Like we found out we might be touring in Europe in the fall, which is like a
This is
big
the first
deal.
time ever.
Yeah, and I was like, "What? That's crazy. I'm 18. I'm not done high school yet. Like, what?" So yeah, I don't know. It's still, I guess it's like it's never, it's gonna keep feeling like oh wait, this is my career thing, like for a while.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd say just like speed doing it, like summer folk definitely. Um, and then probably playing at like Winnipeg Folk Festival and doing that because we drove to Winnipeg with the no, that was before the Good Lovelies, and then playing with the Good Lovelies, and then probably signing with Slate and
In terms
Jeff.
of artistic milestones, I'd say going into the studio for the first time as a band, it was my dad producing it, because he went back to school
For
for
free.
production. So he just was like, "Hey, do you want to get some songs recorded for free?" And I felt that was cool because that was like our first time where we could kind of just like experiment in a studio. Um, and then I think
We had also oh sorry.
another really big one I think was when we kind of learned to produce our own stuff. When we did Orange and BU. Samantha Martin helped a little bit with the initial production of Orange, but we ended up basically co-producing those two songs with Guillermo Sabast, and that was really cool. Because then we ended up co-producing our EP
Mm-hmm.
with him, and I felt that was like a really big artistic milestone because when we were recording those singles, um, our team was trying to set us up with a lot of producers and songwriters, that just didn't feel like a good fit. Like they were all awesome people, but it just didn't feel like a good fit. And so then that kind of, I feel like doing that gave us the confidence to be like, no, we kind of want to try doing this on our own. And then
Mm-hmm.
we did. And
And then we wrote and then we produced the next album with Guillermo.
yeah, and then, that EP has like over 1 million streams on Spotify. So like, I don't know, it was like it was like, oh, like we might not be the most like experienced people, but like this is something that we can do. Um, yeah. I think something really important is me and Pascal try to make, this is going to sound cheesy, but we really genuinely want to like everyone that we work with and that we meet. Like we're those kinds of people where we just like making friends with everyone. And I think, and I know that sounds stupid and that, but it's true. And I think that's such a great
Kind
way to,
of fun, we like to have fun.
we make up nicknames for everyone we meet. We just like genuinely get excited to meet new people. And I think that is a way of inciting change because when we have demands of like, because something that we're both um, really passionate about, it's just social justice in general. Partly something I've been really focusing on recently is environmentalism. But I think people are a lot more likely to be like, oh, you want like a green rider or you want this like one environmental clause or like you want to make your vinyl more environmentally sustainable. They're more likely to do that if you're not just going and being like, okay, cool, this is what I want. But being like, hey, like let's make this a collaborative thing. This is something I care about and I want to talk to you about it. And I think that's something that we try to do always. um, because you don't want to just see people as like their job. You want to see people as like a team and a community.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and I
that's
think
like the
that's
folk community did that for us,
yeah. And I think that's part of the reason we got away with producing our own EP, which like who's gonna let like two 16-year-old girls produce their own EP? Like that's ridiculous. But I think we were just as like transparent and like being like this is a
Because
collaboration. We need to make change here and stuff like that.
I remember when me and Bridget were sitting in like the boardroom we are like, because Slate really wanted us, because we don't think that they have like, we just really wanted to make something to know what we wanted to make, And we were like, you can give us less money. We don't need as much money. You can put your name on it. If it's not good, you can just call it a demo. Like, yeah, it's,
Yeah, no,
but
I
I don't
think
know. We try to incite change, but it's, I don't know. Like, I think just a big part of it is just working with people that we like and not working with people that are shitty, And like I think it's important to empower like other people, and not just like us, because when everyone is, getting, like what Bridget said, when everyone is collaborating and getting like recognition from something, it's important too. I don't know. I feel like I didn't realize like that you don't necessarily, and this is like such like a thing, but like you don't necessarily have to be a musician or be like in the public eye to like have a job in the music industry. And that's something that I did not get. Like after when I first went in as like a young person, I was like, yeah, it's musicians and then producers. And then you go in and there's so many jobs. There's so many jobs. And like, I don't know. I I don't know. There are also lots of people that aren't great. That's
I,
something that surprised me too.
yeah, no, that's the thing. When I say, oh, I'm surprised, I know that we're really lucky to have experience where we've mostly had good. Okay, I don't know. So I grew up watching Nashville. Did you ever watch the show Nashville? No, okay. I was like a devout.
I know the show.
It was me and my mom's show. We'd watch it every week, starting from when I was like, I don't know, like 10 or something. So I guess, I don't know. There's just like, it was so weird to like be, be in the music industry when I would like watch this soap opera about it. And a lot of the show was accurate. Uh, and
You were so funny. We did play at the Bluebird.
we did play at the Bluebird. It was a lot
It
smaller
is
than
a real
I thought it
place.
would be.
I'm not sure how they fit all the cameras in there.
I don't know. Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I don't know. That's the thing. I don't have any good answers. For me, it's just
well,
like that we continue to do stuff. Like it's just like every time something happens, I'm like, whoa, I'm in the music industry. This is so crazy because it doesn't feel like a. I guess okay, this is a surprise. Something I guess just because my mom is kind of my like color commentator for everything we do because she's our co-manager and she's my mom and so something crazy will happen and she's like, "How do you feel?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It happened."
I feel like nothing surprises me, which is bad, but like I feel like I don't know, because I'll get surprised by things, but like I don't know. I just didn't go into doing it with any expectations really. So like, and I just didn't know anything about it, and I still like have a lot to learn, and I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess like three come off the top of the head for me. One I feel like is maybe more specific to us, but the other two I feel like are more kind of, one is school. Obviously, that's something like neither of us, and I'm about to graduate, Pascal graduated. Neither of us graduated with great marks, even though we're both pretty good at school
We
because
had like it. We both had 80 averages. It's fine.
okay, well, I almost failed a bunch of courses. So, and so
I
did
did.
you.
Yeah, I did too.
Um, but yeah, that's something that we've had to sacrifice. And then also
We're probably not going to go
university.
to university.
Yeah, we both like I really want to go to university, but everyone's like, don't go. It's like a waste of time. And I'm like, okay, I won't go. They're like, that's 4 years where you could be working on
You'll
your
probably get
career.
to you probably get to go eventually, but like I've
Yeah.
already taken a gap year, and like
And I'm
yeah,
taking a
like
gap year next year.
sometimes you just get FOMO, like seeing other people do like
Normal stuff.
things. No, and that sounds like, oh, we're not, no, but like it's like it like in Toy Story when the kid goes to university and his parents drive him off, like that probably won't happen with us. And
Yeah.
like you kind of, I remember this one time we were in a cart when we were like in the 11th grade, and like we just had this realization. We were like, there's a lot of stuff, like teenager stuff, that we aren't going to be able to do,
And I feel
just
like that transfers over to adults too, because like music is not like a normal job with like 9 to 5 hours. Like it's something that you kind of have to dedicate almost all of your time to, which is fine because most people who are in the music industry love music and that's okay. But it definitely makes it hard to do other stuff. And then the other two things that I think I've kind of had to sacrifice, one is mental health, because I think a lot of artists just generally are more sensitive people and a lot of us struggle from mental health issues.
Mhm.
And that can interfere with music because this is something that you're expected to kind of put your whole self into. And so there's like I feel like there's an expectation. It's like, oh, doesn't matter if you're like depressed or you just keep going because we're artists. And that can suck. Um yeah, I struggle from depression. Like I'm on antidepressants.
Me
And
too, man.
yeah. And so it's definitely like a weird thing. Like yeah, it like there's been some situations where it's like I'm dealing with some very serious mental health issues, and then it's like, all right, 3 weeks later, I'm jetting out to Nashville. All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
Which again, I'm fine with. It's something I've accepted because music is something that I love. But I think that's, and then another, I guess, like the third thing that I think you kind of have to sacrifice is relationships. Again, I'm not an adult, so I don't have like proper experience, but um yeah, dating can be weird, I guess. Pascal, you can probably um relate to this. Like
Yeah,
when you have to go away for like 2 months, that can
yeah. It can like it is like yeah, it can be hard. It's definitely like because of COVID now we don't even go anywhere anymore. So it's like I forget sometimes, but like it's hard when you're like, I don't know. It's even hard just like with relationships with like I forget to call my mom, or like you just like it's just hard to do stuff when you're so busy. And there were points in our lives where we were doing something every weekend, multiple times a week, and like we just didn't have time to like hang out with our friends or hang out with our boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't know, like and it's just kind of like, yeah, you have to accept that because like you just want to do it so bad. I just think that like you shouldn't base like how happy you are off of like likes or streams, because it's easy to be like to put yourself to a metric and to be like, oh, like my music isn't as good as this person's music because they're more popular than me. What's important is that you love it and that you want to keep doing it, and that you're having fun and that you enjoy it. And yeah.
I guess my advice would be like, don't give in to imposter syndrome, which is something that we both really struggle with. Like, we've talked about it before. Like, we both really get imposter syndrome. And instead of just being like, oh, I can't do this, be like, okay, I've been given this opportunity and I'm gonna work until I feel like I deserve it or something. Instead of just being like, oh, like, this isn't a thing. So like for example, I'm really self-conscious about my vocals, and I don't think that I can be at the level we are with the singing voice I have. And instead of being like, oh, I'm just not gonna sing on songs, instead of being like, oh, I'm just not gonna sing, I've started taking vocal lessons and being like, okay, why don't I like my voice? What? So yeah, I guess just don't give in to that, and like, there's ways to work around that without like feeling bleh.
Like the difference between like constructive criticism and just like hating yourself, you
Yeah,
know? There's a huge difference, you
yeah.
know?
Another, I guess that another is learn to be okay with criticism, because you're going to get a ton of that in the music industry. And it can sometimes feel like an attack, and you just need to learn to be like, nope, this is people telling me how to improve, and I'm going to take it and I'm not going to internalize it. I'm just going to be like, okay, great. These are things that I can work on, which is hard, but I think important.
Yeah. And I don't know, like I think that it's important to really just like don't lose track of like what you like doing, you know? And me and Bridget, like we love being friends, we love making music, and that's just something that like we're probably going to continue doing, you know? Like it's yeah.
And I guess one last thing is like, I've already talked about this, but collaboration. Like that's something I feel like I can't impress enough. Like we wouldn't be anywhere near where we were if it wasn't for all the amazing people we've worked with. And so I think it's so important to make connections with people and be grateful and like,
And Scratch like promote their stuff too.
yeah,
Like do stuff for them, because like when you do stuff, you know, like this is all part of being a community, you know? Like you do something for one person and it's like all, you know, just doing things for your friends. It's good.
yeah. I think collaboration is like such, and gratitude are such an important part of music.